SIDI Ali, who is a chartered economist, to share his thoughts on what he heard or what we all heard yesterday. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for agreeing to speak to us this morning.
Okay.
And so, from the perspective of those of you who are on top of the economy, in your capacity as a chartered economist, what is your initial reaction to what you heard yesterday coming out of Parliament?
Good morning to you and your able producers and listeners.
Mm.
Yesterday's budget is a budget that shows a lot of confidence in the economy. Anybody who listened to the finance minister yesterday will attest to the fact that the economy is doing well. And I think if we continue on this trajectory in the next few years, we will see a total transformation that will affect the livelihoods of many Ghanaians. Judging from last year, what actually transpired through the economy, you can be able to say that what we are seeing this year is a manifestation that whatever happened last year wasn't just a fluke. It was something that people worked for. And we commend the finance minister and his team for holding this economy together. And I believe strongly if we continue with this path, it will help the country.
Fantastic.
What I've realized is that there are some key takeaways that we need to look at. First and foremost, the budget, when you look at it entirely, the revenue side, it was projected that the government revenue projection was about 302 billion for the 2026 financial year. Yesterday, when the finance minister came, he actually didn't ask for more. He maintained that figure. That is expenditure, 302 billion Ghana cedis. And then the expenditure side was projected at 268 billion for the 2026 financial year. That one too was maintained. Either two, you will see that there will be some kind of adjustment. Government will be looking for more money, maybe because of things are not working well within the economy. But this time around, everything is moving according to plan by the finance minister. And then from there, you look at the projections. The government projected that the growth will reach 4.8%. But the mid-year budget shows that it will be more than that. For the first quarter, Ghana achieved 6.3% growth, which is far higher than the 4.8 estimated for the close of the year. In fact, non-oil GDP is around 6.3%, which is a refreshing news. Because when the growth concentrated around oil growth, it doesn't throw out more jobs. But the moment you see that non-oil growth is performing, it means the economy is moving well and people are likely to secure jobs because of the conducive environment. We have also realized that the finance minister promised to stabilize the SIDI. And true to that, we've seen it in the budget that the SIDI has been stabilized for some time now. And that is a refreshing news for businesses, especially importers and exporters. And then inflation too is within range. Inflation is projected to end at 8% plus or minus 2 at the close of the year. As we speak, inflation is around 5.3%, which is within range. And I think with this sustained macroeconomic stability, the budget estimate and achievement and the budget targets will be achieved at the end of the year. We have also seen one thing about interest rates. Average interest rate was around 32% in 2024. Now it's around 15.6%, which means there is some kind of a conducive environment for businesses to borrow and be able to pay. Because if you are a businessman and you are borrowing at a rate of 32% or 40%, how are you going to work and repay your loan? But with 15.6%, I think it is manageable than 30%. And that is a refreshing news for businesses in this country. We've also seen the transformational agenda, especially when we look at it, the flagship program, the 24-hour economy, and the big push. Yesterday, the finance minister announced that about 33 manufacturing companies have enrolled into the 24-hour, economy. That means more people have been employed. Because if 33 manufacturing companies are running 3-hour shift, it means even if they were employing 50 people at a go, now they will be employing about 150 people for 24 hours. And that means something good is coming out of that place. And we've also seen that NPA and the filling station, the downstream sector, about 268 filling stations are also enrolled into the 24-hour economy. That is also a good start. And with this, I can tell you, if you continue on this trajectory, it will help reduce unemployment in the country. Even the unemployment rate, yesterday, the finance minister made us understand that it has reduced from 13.7% to 12.8%, which is a refreshing news. Even if it reduced by 1 percentage point, it's better than increasing. So I think if we continue with this trajectory, it will get to a point where unemployment will reach a single digit, and that will be better than unemployment in double digits. We've also seen the big push, about 87 projects under the big push. Many of them are over 50% complete. And I think the way the road minister is putting pressure on them, by the close of the year, of the full year, we'll be able to see much improvement under the push agenda. We've also realized that the payment of DDEP and Eurobond holders is also on course. It showcases that Ghana's credit worthiness is now better than it used to be. Some time past, we were rated as junk status. Now, Moody's and Standard & Poor's and Fitch, when we look at the latest rating, we are B with positive outlook. That is the reason why the finance minister announced that the international capital market is calling on Ghana to return to it. But government has promised not to rush to the international market. This shows the kind of confidence people have in the Ghanaian economy. One thing that is remarkable that we cannot gloss over is the reduction in our debt to GDP ratio. Currently, we are around 45%. The IMF and the World Bank projections were that Ghana can achieve 45% debt to GDP ratio by the year 2032. But within just 1.5 years, we have been able to achieve 45% debt to GDP ratio, which is something we cannot gloss over it. Apart from that, the economy has grown. Today, Ghana is ranked 8th largest economy in Africa. The size of our economy is over $100 billion. Within just 1.5 years, we have moved from $72 billion to over $100 billion. That should tell you that something good is happening to this economy. And what we have also realized from the budget is that all the growth areas, especially, it's about the gold. Gold is giving us a lot of money. When you look at our gold earnings, yesterday we were told that mid-year, from January to June, Gold Board has able to accumulate about $12.8 billion. That is a lot of money. And combined, both Gold Board and the large-scale mine, when you put them together, we are around $18 billion. And it is largely because of the increase in production and increase in price. That is what has pushed her to this level. And we need to be cautious about it because gold prices are somehow volatile. Sometimes it can go down anytime, and if you don't have buffers, it can affect you. It can affect the economy. And then cocoa too. Cocoa export too are giving us a lot of money, and that is also good. And we also know cocoa is also another volatile commodity. But one thing that is refreshing is that Ghana has started refining its gold from last year. And adding value to your gold, the raw gold, is better. That will give us more earnings than exporting it in raw. And the president will promise that about 400 metric tons of raw cocoa will be given to local, companies to process it before we export them. If they are able to see through with this promise, it is going to change the economy entirely, especially with gold refining and then cocoa production. If the government is able to stand on its grounds and make sure that our cocoa is processed in this country, we will earn more than we earn today in exporting raw cocoa. And another refreshing news is how Tor too has been able to revamp and revitalize. Today, as I speak to you, Tor has received 1 million barrels of Ghana's oil, Ghana's crude oil for refining. Central, which is another private refinery, which is also a local company, is also refining Ghana's crude oil. This is something we have not seen for some time now. And if we are able to process our oil, process our gold, and refine our, what do you call it, our
crude,
refine our gold and process our cocoa, it means we are taking over the commanding heights of our economy and turning it into something that will be beneficial to the country and to the people. But the more we process our raw material, the more people are employed, the more foreign exchange we are able to gain from doing those things. And I think these are the areas that the finance minister must focus on and make sure things work well in that regard for the economy to continue to maintain the momentum we are seeing.
All right. Thank you for that very fantastic delivery. But I'm going to ask you, if a question were to be put to you as to what our government should do to sustain and maintain this trajectory, what would you say to them?
Yeah, the most important thing is to be disciplined. Financial discipline is key. If we are disciplined, we can be able to sustain this momentum. Apart from that, we need to also make sure that we seal all the loopholes. There is a lot of wastage in the system, from procurement and to contracts, those kind of special procurement. If we are able to seal the loopholes in the procurement process in the government institutions, I can tell we can make a lot of savings. We can make a lot of savings. Apart from these two, being disciplined and sealing the loopholes and reducing wastage, I think we should also be able to make sure that we attract more businesses, investment into the country, and invest in the productive sectors of the economy. The more we are able to invest in the productive sectors of the economy, then we can be able to maintain the spectrum, and then the economy will continue to grow as we see.
Doc, okay, Senna here. Did you hear any of the things you just said from the tone of the minister and from the content of what was presented yesterday?
Come again.
I was wondering if you heard some of the things you said should be done from the media budget review, and you also see it in the actions of the government, that they are interested in preserving and maintaining and sustaining what we are seeing, the stability we are seeing.
Yeah, that was something the finance minister, he said it yesterday. Even last year when he presented the budget in November, he said, and he has he has emphasized it again that they are going to be more disciplined. When we are getting to election year, a lot of things happen. There will be pressure coming from all manner of corners. And if you're not disciplined, the pressure can overwhelm you. And then you'll be derailed from the path that you have taken. And another thing is our appetite for borrowing. I think there was an assurance from the minister that even though Ghana, the international market is calling on Ghana to return to the Eurobond market and all that, but we are not here to return to those areas. Because when you return to the Eurobond market and you don't have a genuine plan, the possibility of you deriving from your plans is very high. And I think that assurance too has been given by the finance minister.
Mm.
But one thing that we cannot gloss over is the payment of DDEP in 2027 and 2028. That is a lot of money. In 2027, we are scheduled to pay 58 billion. In 2028, 53 billion, as was announced by the finance minister yesterday. That is about 111 billion in just 2 financial years. That is a lot of money. And I think there is some kind of assurance, especially the continuous, deposits into the sinking fund, give us some kind of assurance that the government is really, committed to paying those debts to our bondholders.
But there are some analysts and, of course, the New Patriotic Party who have raised issues with what they see as a cautionary approach to running the economy that has led the government not to spend in the areas that create jobs. How do you respond to that assessment? Because it's come many times from particularly the NPP that the government is not spending in areas that stimulate the economy to create the jobs that people want to see.
I think that assertion is flawed. Looking at the numbers the finance minister churned out yesterday, it's completely flawed. Because the expenditure targets, we saw it yesterday. The revenue target, we saw it. And the expenditure is very high. So you cannot say the government is not spending. And if you say the government is not spending in productive sectors of the economy, that one is not true. Because for the government to support Gold Board and other institutions to refine Ghana's good, that is spending in productive area. For the government to support Paul to buy Ghana's crude oil and refine it, that is spending in productive area. These are productive areas, some of the productive sectors of our economy. And all those areas will help us reduce pressure on the city. And when there is reduction in the pressure on it, they stabilize. And when it stabilizes, it becomes more predictable for businesses to plan. So, and I can see it. There is another element that was also coming from the minority, that there has been a reduction in our reserve. And for that matter, the economy is an artificial privatization, a lot of things about it, especially from Onabukodo.
Yes.
But when you look at the government is targeting the budget is our foreign reserves should cover 3 months of imports. But yesterday's budget shows that our foreign reserve covers 5 months, import cover. That should tell you that even that agreement is flawed. Government is within target.
And talking about revenue, and this is my last question on this bit. Talking about revenue, they are also saying revenue is not performing. That government is not meeting its revenue targets. In fact, one of the MPs also called the government lazy, that they are not doing well when it comes to meeting their own revenue targets. And that will affect perhaps the spending of the government moving forward. From what you heard, do they have a cause for concern?
Yeah, there was a shortfall in revenue. It was seen there. But the government target is that by the close of the year, our revenue to GDP will reach 14%. That is our tax revenue. And this is the mid-year budget that has been presented. So looking at the shortfalls, I don't know whether something dramatic will change. If not, maybe that 14% will be not reached. And that is a fact. Well, that is true. That is the reason why the minority is raising that issue. But if we are able to continue, because there are some reforms which was announced in the last year, in this year's budget, which started taking effect from April. And based on the figures coming from the finance minister, if we are able, because I learned it was piloted, if we are able to implement it fully by the close of the year, that there will be a lot of revenue coming from that side. And it is possible it can close the gap that we see in the first 2 quarters of this year.
All right, Mr. SIDI Ali, we'd like to thank you very much for engaging us this morning and sharing your thoughts on the presentation. Have a lovely day, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. Speaker, basically, what he's telling all ministers that he is not going to spend, he's not going to release funds to you. Mr. Speaker, already you are suffering and you've been redundant in your various ministries. His deputy minister told the nation that 1.6 billion was released to the agri minister. Today, he says only 1.1 billion. You see, the true measure of a finance minister is not how much he spends. Mr. Speaker, throughout his review, there was no policy announcement for the cocoa sector. The 4 million farmers, the 4 million cocoa farmers are suffering. This finance minister, since he took over as a supervising minister responsible for cocoa, we have seen suffering and wailing, and he comes here to lament. Mr. Speaker, he talks about determining the true cost of economic policy, the true cost. He's talking about having met some debt. What he has forgotten, that he refused good counsel from the minority. When Gold Board and Bank of Ghana charges on the gold for reserve policy was at 15%, we cautioned. He didn't listen. Later, IMS forced them to reduce it to 9%. 3 days ago, the governor announced that he was no more going to participate in this gold for reserve. It's too late in the day. You've already incurred losses of 9.6 billion. That is what the IMF told you. And you come here, you're saying prudent management of the economy. Really? Mr. Speaker, this review is full of English with empty payment. The payment he said is done. He said they've done some payment. Why didn't he give us details? You paid your party members. You paid your party members. The monies have gone to your party members. And Mr. Speaker, the Nkukon Kitinkiti project has now become protein.
Honourable members, I insist we listen to each other in silence.
The Nkukon Kitinkiti has become protein for your party executives. They are all cooking Akukon coin. It is now Akukon coin. Mr. Speaker, I want the finance minister to walk the talk. If you come here and you say 24-hour market, 24-hour market at 42 million cities, and you've abandoned the Agenda 111. The hospitals, that should be your priority. You are not constructing the hospitals. Then you are spending a whooping sum of 42 million, and you say you've released 80% to the assemblies. Mr. Speaker, meanwhile, you are using the assemblies, their own allocation, to pay for the 24-hour economy. When there are no hospitals, how do you say you are constructing markets? Mr. Speaker, this review is uninspiring. There is no inspiration. What we are experiencing in this country is persecution, persecution, persecution. For the first time, we are seeing political imprisonment. One to me is a political prisoner. Mr. Speaker, Camilla Al-Hassan A young mother of 3 is also a political prisoner, telling you how intolerant you are. And you are here telling us you are running an economy. You want this to be a one-sided parliament. When people criticize you, you threaten them. A lot of my MPs here are being threatened. You are threatening members of parliament with prosecution. Let me serve a warning to the Attorney General that the ravening clouds shall no longer be victorious. They shall not long possess the sky. Be careful. 2028, you'll be in opposition. 2028. If you are not careful, Mr. Speaker, if you don't stop now, you will go and meet Wontumi there, and Wontumi will be out, and you will go in. So I'm advising you, let us all be measured. We welcome the reforms by the finance minister. And for the first time, he did something patriotic by acknowledging the digitalization reforms we introduced in government payments. Today he has acknowledged it. Mr. Speaker, we commend you for acknowledging MPP. We commend you. But you can do better. Tell your government to free all political prisoners. Dr. Atu-Forson, tell your government to free all political prisoners. Wontumi deserve justice. Camilla Al-Hassan deserve justice. The MPs behind me that you have lined them up for persecution. Listen, you can decide to imprison every MP. It will not shut us down. We will criticize you. We will hold your feet to account. And we'll make sure you account for every city you spend. But you know what? The good news is that you are on your way to opposition. You are on your way to opposition. So you should begin thinking. You should begin thinking deep. Because there in some cells, in some prison will not be locked up. It will open widely for you. It will swallow many of you. From what we are seeing in public procurement, your situation will be worse. So be careful, those of you who are comfortable. And finally, you claim you want a third term. Third term. You are not performing. You say third term. Atu-Forson, you are here presenting a budget. And beneath it is a third term agenda where you are going to spend money for people to be calling for third term. We are watching you with eagle eyes. Third term, focus on 24-hour economy. You promise 1 job, 3 shifts. You promise industrialization. Ghanaian businesses have lost confidence in you. You canceled the 1D, 1F, which was creating opportunity for the private sector. In its place, no policy alternatives. Electricity tariffs have gone up over almost 30%. Then you get up, you say you are promoting 24-hour economy. You have sacked public sector workers. Many of the Ghanaian youth lost their jobs. You sacked them. Today you are here. Instead of promising to restore them into their rightful places in the job market, you are not doing so. Then you come, you say we should praise you. Who is going to praise you? If you don't pay and you are holding the money and then you are there tightening belt and only paying your party members, then we should praise you. We are not interested in the books. We are interested in the economy in our pockets. People are suffering, Mr. Speaker. People need jobs. Your youth, even your MPs, they are praising you here. A lot of them are hungry. Your backbenchers, they can't go back home. Your backbenchers. And you hear, you say we should praise you. Who will not praise you? It is the same old story. Asem Dadana. Mrs. Sai. Mrs. Sai. Again. Asem Dadana. Mr. Speaker, I rest my case.
It reminds me of when Asomisi was standing there saying, teachers are suffering, are suffering, are suffering. People were responding with gusto. Asem Dadana. That's another sound bite. And so, listeners, this was the voice of very feisty and very, consistent minority leader. Spitting fire. But I mean, I'm just wondering the correlation between